Guys, I hate to break it to you, Sony are never going to release an internal ND filter for the A7S3. It's not going to happen. They want you to buy the more expensive camera. If you want one, you're going to have to make one. Come with me, and I will show you how. There's three things you need to do. Remember in the last tutorial I said how important it is to have control over your ISO because you need to know your relatives and stay pretty close to them if you want to avoid grain. In this case, my ISO is at 1280. If I just let it do its own thing, and this camera loves doing its own thing, which you want to watch out for. It's kind of almost smarter than you. So you've got to get back in the race, and also you've got to get your nose out in front and be a bit more in control, take charge. Do not have it on ISO auto. It'll try and on ISO auto. It'll default try and change the ISO to affect the brightness. Remember, your ND, you're trying to meter, like internally meter, and you've got three options. You've got your ISO, you've got your aperture, and you've got your shutter speed. These are the three variables. So if you have that on auto, it'll just default. It'll choose that, and that's a nightmare because you get grain everywhere. So let's go back to ISO. We're going to tell it to lock off at 1280, right? So we've locked the ISO. Now then, that leaves us aperture and shutter speed, and this is where we go into exposure mode. Now listen to the wording. Aperture priority, shutter priority, right? So you want it to prioritize the aperture. In this case, we've got to set f2, that's kind of arty. So we want to prioritize that. We don't want that pinging up and down because that's our choice. So if we prioritize the shutter, it would use that. So we're going to prioritize the aperture. So now it's only got the shutter speed to play with, and that should look like this. So kind of you're looking at the numbers at the bottom left, and they are kind of moving because look, f2 stays the same, ISO stays the same, and see how they zoom up and down depending on where we are. I can still use my punch in 4 times, that little button number 4. Now, what happens? What we want to do here, now let's see how it does change brightness, but we want to keep the overall room that color. Then remember we've got our toggle AEL, which we hit, and then we get this little asterisk, and now nothing changes. There is that, and now it's nice. Look, it's good. It's in control. It's not jumping around. Unlock. Saw some black they didn't like, and that gets more accentuated if you have a spot standard. You see that you can't deliver that shot. No one will like you. People will shout at you. You'll shout at yourself. Great. Yes, I did. I forgot part 2. Welcome back to part 2. So just to recap, you've locked off your ISO at whatever you want it to be. Sorry, you've set the shooting mode to aperture priority. So the only thing left is shutter speed. But there's still one more step to go before your ND hack is complete, and this is it. So, as you know, if you want to shoot at 25p, 25 frames a second, you've got to have your shutter speed double that, say 50th, 150th. So, simply done. If you've got to then shoot at 50th with 50, because if you don't, I'll just quickly show you what happens. If you don't, then as you can see, the little dial is hovering around. We're now shooting at a shutter speed of 1/40th. That's not good. 1/25th because it's trying to get more light from there. So that's going to start to blur. The way around that is, as I just described, if you shoot at 50, now you can see shutter speed is at 50th. Everything else is locked off. Your internal ND filter is working like a treat, like a dream. You're good to go. Thanks for watching, guys. And Sony, we don't need you. We're not going to sit around waiting for your little firmware updates, like little morsels falling off the edge of your Sony table. We can do our own damn updates, and we have, and this one works really well. And you know what? In the meantime, we'll just keep being excellent, as you will keep being excellent. Thanks for watching me. If you've got any thoughts or opinions, maybe there's something I've missed, I'd love to hear from you, as I will you. We're doing this together. You're watching me because I'm watching you, and we're getting better at these, and hopefully we're getting better, and we're going to keep chasing the brilliance, keep being awesome, keep shooting amazing stuff. Thanks for watching. See you again.